Hello everyone! I'm so excited today to introduce the newest addition to our studio, Yamaha NU1XA. Yamaha has a few hybrid pianos that distinguishes themselves from the keyboards. This is basically a super fancy keyboard that has real hammers in it. Ever since I played the older model NU1X at a Yamaha dealer, I've always wanted it myself. But then I already have two grand pianos and I had no good excuse until now. We have recently moved to a new location and we were doing some upgrades to the studios. And my wife's studio needed a decent keyboard instrument that we can use to accompany students. In her old studio, she had a portable keyboard in it, and that was enough for her purpose. It was a violin studio after all. But this new house actually came with an upright piano. We didn't ask for it, it was part of the deal. It was a well-maintained piano, so I was gonna sell it later. However, it came to my mind, what if I traded this in and got a good deal on the hybrid piano that looks more like real piano, looks nicer, sounds nicer, and feels nicer. So here it is. I had to call several dealers, but we finally got a decent deal, and it finally arrived last month. Just so you know, Yamaha didn't sponsor this video, although they could have. We used our own money to purchase this piano and equity from the old piano. So in this video, I get to say whatever I want about this piano. So today, you get to hear my brutally honest opinion as a pianist. Is this good? Is this good enough for learning piano? Does it really feel real? So who's sponsoring this piano? It's all of you who watches this video, subscribes and hit the bell button, and share this video so that more people can watch. And especially those of you who are my patrons on patreon.com and YouTube members. You guys are the stars of this channel who went out of your way to monetarily support this channel. Thanks to you, I get to keep making these videos. And if you're kind enough to support me for $3 or $10 per month, I'll leave the link to my Patreon page in the description. You can also support me directly from YouTube from right here. Alright, let's dive in. So the biggest thing about this hybrid piano, and the reason I decided to purchase this, is because it has real hammers in it. The keys are real wood keys, and it has real hammer action and all the mechanism associated with it in it. So this is basically a real acoustic piano minus strings and soundboard. Instead, it has not only one, but two sensors. One sensing how the keys are moving, and the other one is sensing how the hammers are actually moving, which is actually what creates sound in the piano. And then the algorithm, yes, always algorithm, generates the most realistic sound from the samples recorded from Yamaha's Concert Grand. I'm not an engineer, so this is the most technical I get to. So let's talk about the practical aspect. Does it really feel real? And yes, it does. Because you're playing the real piano. It has real hammer action and everything. So the feel is exactly like an upright piano. So unlike regular keyboards with plastic keys with springs underneath, this feels scary real. And it even makes these mechanical noise that real pianos make because it has real piano parts inside. Real pianos are actually making this loud noise all the time when you play, but you don't notice it because it's overpowered by the actual string sound. But having this noise behind the actual piano sound really makes it feel real to me. The touch of this piano feels a little heavier side, but some pianos have heavy touch. I don't have any problem with that. It might be actually good to develop your finger strength. And this real touch makes it really easy to do the voicing because you actually feels like real piano. It feels the depths of the keys and feedback from the instrument. explained in this video how you can apply arm weight to the real pianos and change the tone of the piano, like the color of the piano. Is it actually happening on this piano? Well, I'm not sure. Let's try it. I'm playing this with arm weight on, arm weight off, arm weight on, arm weight off. It sounds like it's producing different kind of sound to me. Let me know about your opinion in the comment section. But I can't emphasize enough, I'm really impressed with how real this instrument feels. Of course, I'm a pianist with decades of training, so I can tell this is not quite real, but it feels real enough that I can actually play this instrument like a piano. Unfortunately, I can't say that to any other keyboard, including Clavinovas by Yamaha. They just feel superficial and it just doesn't have the real feedback. So I feel like I'm controlling something that looks like piano but feels completely different. And sometimes it makes it hard for me to play those instruments. This is Yamaha P155 keyboard, and this is what I use to perform when there's no piano. Well, if you don't have any piano, why would you hire a pianist? Well, you'll be surprised. Anyway, this has a graded hammer, this and that technology in it, but it's nowhere near what Yamaha NU1XA upstairs has. Graded hammer technology means that the lower keys are heavier than the higher keys, which helps a little bit to feel more realistic than cheaper keys that has all the same pressure with the same spring. However, it still feels pretty keyboardy. There's no piano feel to it. But that's the best you can in a portable instrument like this, because you can't put a hammer action on this and it's not gonna be portable anymore. But this one actually feels like real piano. It's so close, and Yamaha did a really great job on that. So how about the sound? The speakers on this piano are pretty decent in my opinion. The grand piano sound this piano makes is beautiful. I usually turn up the volume knob to about 3/4 of the way to mimic the volume of the real piano. On top of that, this piano never goes out of tune. It's always in tune because this doesn't have physical strings that go out of tune all the time. So whenever you play the octave, they're always perfectly in tune. You might think, oh great, it has beautiful grand piano sound and it never goes out of tune and it comes out perfectly all the time. Well, here's the news. Nothing in this world is perfect. Pianists make mistakes during the performances. Even the most beautiful women in the world farts. And pianos go out of tune all the time. Welcome to my usual YouTube spot. And this is a Steinway piano I usually use for my videos. And this is an analog acoustic piano which always consistently getting out of tune as soon as you tune it. But that's a part of piano playing. And it has been about 3 months since I tuned last time. And my next tuning is a few weeks ahead of us. So this is as far as it gets out of tune usually. Pianos go out of tune without even playing, but every time you play, you're knocking the strings, and also humidity and temperature of the room affects the tuning. So there's a lot of things that affect the tuning, but it's part of the nature, and that's part of the art. And if you're used to it, not having that out of tuneness is a little weird feel. Can you tell the difference? Let me know in the comment section. Real acoustic pianos are always a little bit out of tune and doesn't sound as perfect as the ones that NU1X plays from their speakers. But again, that's real piano. Once you get used to it, you kind of need that imperfection. In fact, the real pianos start going out of tune the moment it gets tuned. That's just the reality. And that imperfection is also part of the experience. So actually, hearing perfectly tuned piano sound feels a little foreign to me. Also, this piano, for good or bad, like I said, it really feels like a real upright piano, but then you're hearing this great grand piano sound. That also kind of gives me a little weird feel to me. But you'll get used to it. I'm not saying these are all bad things, it just doesn't feel like the real experience I'm used to. However, this is not a real piano after all, and having perfectly tuned piano without paying for tuning is like pianist's dreams. After all, you'll get used to it. And once I got used to it, it doesn't bother me anymore. So I guess it's a part of the experience with this new technology. So let's talk about the pedal on this instrument. That's another element that I got really impressed with about this instrument. On real piano, when you don't change the pedal, it sounds terrible like this. However, this is a keyboard pedal. It senses if the pedal is on or off. And when it's on, the keyboard sustains the note that you played. In fact, where you plug this in says sustain pedal, not a damper pedal. But the thing is, depending on the specification of your keyboard, it can only sustain so many notes. So what happens is if you keep playing with the pedal on without changing, eventually you'll hit the maximum number of the notes the keyboard can hold and starts releasing those old notes, effectively changing the pedal for you. Now this keyboard has a little more notes that it can sustain, so it's a little better, but I'm gonna play the same pieces I played upstairs on this keyboard without changing the pedal and show you how it sounds. Somewhat tolerable, which is not good if you're trying to learn how to change the piano pedals. Let's try Nocturne. Again, it's not most pleasant playing, but it's not that terrible either. The fact it has smaller speakers than Anyone X upstairs may be contributing this too. But this is a $1,000 portable keyboard. If you play with anything less than that, and it's gonna start cutting off older sound much earlier, and it really doesn't sound bad at all. I wish I could demonstrate that, but I don't have that kind of keyboard here. So I'm actually very impressed this piano mixes all those sounds and make this mishmash of the muddy sound. And when you teach your student how to change the pedal and their instrument doesn't make this dirty sound, it's really hard to teach this concept. Another thing about this pedal is that you can actually do half pedal. I explained how the damper pedal on piano works in this video in details. Piano pedals are not just on and off. There are different levels from where the dampers are completely pressing against the strings, to where they're lightly touching, to where it completely leaves the strings. And this piano reproduces that effect. Listen to this. I'm not pressing pedal right now. Now a little bit of pedal. More pedal. Even more pedal. Full pedal. Did you hear? When I started pressing pedal deeper and deeper, the effect got bigger and bigger. This is pretty important because most of the times when I'm playing the piano, I'm not depressing the pedal completely. I only do that when I really want the full effect of the pedal. So this is me fully depressing the pedal. This is with half pedal. Excuse me for my poor technique because I haven't practiced this for a while and I couldn't condition myself for today's tuning because when you have 2 kids and full studio, you record whenever you can. But I hope you get the idea. When you have full pedal, it's so muddy. It sounds like you're playing in a bathroom and it's great to hide your mistakes, but at the same time, you can't hear the clarity of the melody. Whereas if you use half pedal, the melody is so much clearer, you can hear everything, including imperfection. And a passage like this can really use half pedal change because you want to keep this bass sound as long as possible, but if you don't change the pedal, it gets dirty like this. Ew. But if you only do on-off pedal, it'll sound like this. The bass part is empty. Now I'm gonna do half pedal change where I depress the pedal, but only goes up halfway before I press it again to get rid of some of the sound, but not all of it. Did you hear the bass was holding a lot longer while minimizing the effect of mixed chord? I'm actually pretty impressed that a digital instrument can do this. By the way, like I said, I'm severely out of condition today, so I'm going to practice this piece and record it later, so stay tuned. I've got to really clear my name here. So far, I talked about all the good things about this instrument. However, there are some complaints. Of course, any product I review, I have some complaints. But the biggest complaint I have about Yamaha NU1XA is this bench that came with it. This is an unadjustable bench that is way too high for me. Way too high. I've explained the importance of bench height and how to adjust your bench in this video. And that's the first thing I teach my students and the first thing I do when I start playing on the new piano. But this bench that came with a $7,800 piano, it's not adjustable. In fact, it's so high that when I switched the bench from my other keyboard bench, I had to duck down like this to stay in the frame. This is crazy. Now, Yamaha is a company that's been making piano for a long time and they should know how important adjustable bench is, and yet they make this realistic, super technologically advanced hybrid piano, but it comes with this cheapest, crappiest piano bench ever. In fact, I don't even call unadjustable benches piano benches. These are just benches. You can sit on it. Yeah, that's all it's good for. So as soon as this piano was delivered, I had to switch out the bench with my old keyboard bench that's a lot lower than the one that Yamaha gave us. I know the bench is not the main point of this product, but I'm really disappointed that Yamaha would even think it's okay to give such a crappy bench. Another thing that's worth mentioning, which is actually about the piano itself, is that sometimes when I'm playing some quiet passages and I try to bring out one melody note, it produces such a gigantic note and it startles me. But I couldn't even reproduce it for you in this video because I don't know in what occasion and condition that happens, but that has happened more than once, so I just wanted to mention that. But it's rare enough that doesn't really matter too much to me, and you know, algorithm sometimes makes mistakes too. Other than that, I'm actually completely satisfied with this instrument. I actually purchased this without even playing it because I played NU1X and this is the newer model NU1XA, so I didn't even have a reason to think it's anything less than what I played before. And the fact that I'm even calling this a piano in this video so many times says something about the quality of the instrument. Can I tell the difference between this and the real pianos? Of course I can, because I'm a pianist. And this piano, after all, doesn't have the strings and the soundboard that's the core of sound creation of the piano. That's what we're playing through these keys. But is the difference big enough that I can't even play it effectively? No, surprisingly not. In fact, the difference is so small that it's like just getting used to a new kind of piano. And after a while, you'll be able to play it just like a piano. So the ultimate question, do I recommend this to my students who are starting to learn the piano as a primary practicing instrument? And the answer, unfortunately, is no, with a few exceptions. Although it feels terrifically realistic, it still isn't a real piano. You're not playing the real strings and you don't feel that 100% connection with the instrument. You do feel about 95% connection with the instrument, but you're missing that last 5%. And if you are to pay $7,800 for this instrument, you can actually buy pretty decent upright pianos for that price. Maybe even used baby grands. This instrument is really impressive. It feels so realistic, yet there's no technology that completely mimics the analog process of music making of the piano 100% yet. So if you have a choice of spending $7,800 on this piano or regular acoustic piano, I would definitely recommend acoustic piano. However, there are some occasions where you really cannot have an acoustic piano or it doesn't make sense to have an acoustic piano. For example, one of my students works for a university and he lives in a dorm room. So it's very important for him to be able to turn down the volume or use headphones to practice at night while not bothering other people around him. And in that situation, this is as real as it can get to the real piano playing, and this is far better than practicing on regular keyboards. Another scenario I can think of is that you have a second house and you're not always there, but there enough and you want to practice piano there, and you don't want to keep hiring piano tuners to tune it just so you can play for a week or two here and there. Then this instrument is great for that, especially if that's a beach house. Think about all those salty, moist air that can damage the piano very easily. Then this instrument is perfect for that situation. And in our case, we purchased this because we already have 2 grand pianos, and Violin Studio doesn't really need a real piano, and this is good enough so that I can accompany my wife's students very easily. And we don't really need any more piano tuning bills than we have already. So what do you think about this instrument? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have to the best of my ability because I'm not really a technical person. But I'll do my best to answer as many of your questions as possible. If you liked the video, please hit the like button so YouTube will know this is a good review video and it will spread it to other people. If you're interested in one-on-one piano lesson or consultation with me, you can make an appointment through my online studio website. As always, please subscribe and hit the notification button so you won't miss my future videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!